Very soon, a new week has begun. What are your plans for this week? Do you plan to be, what do you plan to do? Many times we think, what do I plan to do today? What do I plan to do this week? And so on. Do you all plan to be happy? Good to plan to be happy, huh? Anybody plan not to be happy? There's a sign-off. There's a sign-off tag that I've been using for maybe 20, 30 years. Yeah. I think it was when I was a lay person. I was reading this Dharma book or something, or maybe an article. And then this guy signed off with this very interesting line. Have a nice day, unless you have other plans. Yeah, I thought that is so interesting. Yeah, so I've been using that since then. I think it's been maybe 30 over years, 20, 30 years. Yeah. Yeah. The strange thing is that we never plan to not have a nice day. But somehow, yeah, we end up not having a nice day. So maybe it's good to stick to our plan, you know. Yeah, plan to have a nice day and stick to it. You know how like small kids, when they want something, they insist, you know. Yeah, they insist, die, they must have it. Yeah, we should do the same for having a nice day. Die, stick to it. Must have a nice day. Yeah. Yeah, no matter what happens. Yeah, you go to work, your boss give you a lot of work, and you almost feel like then no, I shall make it a nice day. Yeah. Huh? You go to you on the way every place. Yeah, you take the lift, you see the lift, and then you miss the lift. Yeah, you take the train, you miss the train. Yeah, then you almost feel like this is a bad day. Tell yourself, no, this is a nice day. Do you feel that way when you miss a train, when you miss a lift, you feel like shit? Do you feel that way? Why must it be bad just because you miss a train? Just because you miss the lift? No? Sometimes we are very funny. We give ourselves so much conditions. Yeah, so much conditions to feel good that even if one of them don't fall in place, we don't feel good. Yeah. So many years ago, Venerable Nyanasiha, Bhante Nyanasiha of Samadhi Buddhist Society. So he conducted this seminar, at the Taipei Buddhist Center. I think once a year he will organize one. So one of the year, that was many years back. So he invited me to give a talk, and I gave this talk, the mathematics of happiness. Yeah, mathematics of happiness. Do you know that you can calculate the probability of your happiness? Yeah. So, give you an example. You know, in school, we learn about probability in secondary school. Do you remember? Remember, you're not so old. Huh? Can remember a lot. So, for example, a coin toss. Okay, coin toss. So say we have a 20 cents coin here. So heads and tail, right? So let's say you flip. How many of you guys hit? How many of you guys tail? Heads, raise your hand. Tail, raise your hand. Don't understand what I'm asking, raise your hand. So imagine if we, like just now, based on what you raise your hand, right? So now the result is tail. This is the number. Number is tail now. The country crest is the head. So imagine if your happiness depends on whether you guess correctly. So what is the chance of you being happy? It means you guess correctly, you're happy. You don't guess correctly, you're not happy. Right? Imagine we're all primary school kids. Primary school kids, very easy to be happy and happy. Yeah. Guess correctly, yay! Yeah. Yeah. Teacher, what present do I get? Oh, you get a star. Yay! Huh? So that means we have a 50-50 chance, right? Yeah. So this is a very simple probability. Yeah, and we usually say that our coin toss is fairly, it's a fair coin. Yeah, in mathematics, we say there's something called a fair coin and an unfair coin. Yeah, so a fair coin means that if you toss enough times, you will tend towards 50-50. Yeah, if you toss enough times. Yeah, if you do a normal distribution, you will tend towards 50% head, 80% tail, more or less. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it will be head, tail, head, tail, head, tail. But it just means that if you toss enough times, yeah, if you do a large sample, you will tend towards that value. So then, if let's say now it's not a coin, if let's say now you have a bag, yeah, and inside there are red balls and blue balls. Yeah, and let's say there's only one red ball and 9 blue balls, and you get to pick a ball. And if you get a red ball, you get a prize. Then you are happy. If you get a blue ball, you must do housework. Then you're not happy. Yeah. So, what is the chance of you being happy? Chance of you being happy? Don't know. 10%. You all know lah. 1 out of 10 ma. 1 red ball, 9 blue balls, add together 10 balls. So 1 out of 10, 10%. 10% chance that you'll get a red ball. What is the chance of you getting a blue ball? 90%. So so far so good. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now, what if you get to choose 2 balls? If you get to take 2 balls, okay? And if you get, what's the chance of you getting 2 consecutive red ball? 2 consecutive red ball. What's the probability? 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. Not 1 over 10 plus 1 over 10. 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. So it reduces, the probability reduces very sharply. What's the chance of you getting a blue ball twice? Yeah, 90% times 90%, 81%. 81%. Yeah. What's the chance that you will get a red ball either time? Yeah, either times. So that means first red, second blue, or first blue, second red. Yeah. So it's 10% of 90. So 10% times 90, then plus 10%, then plus the other one. Oh, so you can go and do your maths. Revision, Sifu give you free revision of secondary school maths. Now imagine imagine, and if you were to increase the number of times you draw, right? Yeah, and if your requirement is you must get all red ball, will your probability of getting more consecutive red ball go up or go down? Probability naturally will go down. Yeah, because you just keep multiplying by 10%. Yeah, you go down very quickly. Yeah, after 3-4 times, it becomes almost zero chance of getting all red ball. Probability of you getting all blue balls initially is 90%, but it also drops down. 90 becomes 81, becomes 72 point something. It drops. It also drops quite fast, but it starts high, it drops low. What is the combination that is highest? The chance of getting at least one red ball. At least. Yeah, at least. We actually learn all this at school. Yeah. It's a pity that when we learn this probability maths, they never look at the application, you know what is the application? Which is my Dharma talk. Yeah, I will give you the simple then. I also wrote an article on my blog. You all can go and look at my blog. Yeah. A pity many years back, I think at that point in time, YouTube was not so prevalent, and there's no Facebook yet at that point in time, I think. Yeah, or even if there is, very raw, and there's no video online and stuff like that. So there's no recording. But the idea is this. If now you consider, Aya, Sifu, why would I get upset or happy over getting a red ball? I'm not a primary school kid. Yes, you're not a primary school kid. Yeah, but the red ball or blue ball represents what we want. Yeah, represents what we think will make us happy. And in life, you notice how kids are easily happy because they are quite simple. They just some I must say some kids are easily happy. I must correct myself. There are some kids that is very hard to please also. Yeah. What are the features of the kids that are very easily happy? Yeah, very easily happy. They are quite easily contented with whatever they get. That means there are some kids, you get red ball, they're also happy. They get blue ball, also happy. Then what does it mean? 100% of the time happy. As long as they get a ball, they're happy. Yeah. But there are some kids, they are very particular. Yeah. Maybe instead of just red or blue, there are many balls inside. Many different balls, many different colors. But they are very particular. They want that particular color. Or better still, they have many different conditions to be fulfilled. And this is the irony of choice and irony of how we perceive happiness. You think about it, if let's say we start off saying, if this happened, you'll be happy. Yeah. So let's say if you get to have something go your way, you'll be happy, right? So far, so good. Now, if you have a second thing that you hope will go a certain way, and if it go your certain way, you'll be happy also, right? So since young, we unconsciously or consciously, or maybe it's our ignorance, we tend to think that having more of these things will make us happier. So in that, we want this, we want that, we want this, we want that, we want this, we want that. And unfortunately, our want is the relationship between all these want is using N. Yeah. I have this and 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 have this, then I'm happy. Such a person is easily unhappy, because if he miss or she miss one of the thing, don't get one of the thing, you are not happy. If you are a person who say, if I get any of this, I'll be happy, then you're easily happy. Much, much easier. In other words, if you give yourself conditions that you must have this, must have all this, that means they must all happen. Yeah, and the more of these conditions that must happen in unison together in order to be happy, then the chance of you being happy is very difficult. And think about it, when we say this person very difficult, that's how it is, right? The person have a lot of requirements. Whereas when we say this person very chincai one, what does it mean? Red ball also happy, blue ball also happy. Does it mean that we shouldn't have a preference of what color ball you want? No, Sifu is not saying that. Yeah. All we are saying is, you ask yourself, how happy you want to be? You ask yourself, how happy are you now? How easily upset are you? Do you hinge your happiness on many things to happen? If you do, I don't say it's wrong, but ask yourself, is it true that if by hinging your happiness in this way, you are easily unhappy? Let's not talk about whether it's long-term or short-term first. Let's not talk about whether it's spontaneous or protracted, prolonged. Okay? Just the fact that if you have more requirements for yourself to be happy, then chance of you being unhappy becomes greater. Chance of you being stably happy is very slim. Still, I don't tell you what you should be doing. Still, I don't tell you you should drop all your requirements. But rather, you ask yourself, consider yourself, reflect yourself, and ask yourself, today you're like that. In the past, you're like that. Tomorrow, for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, do you want to try a different way of happiness? If you don't, it's okay. Because why? In the end, the one who is not happy is who? Who is the one who is not happy? You, not me. Very simple. Buddhism is very interesting. We don't tell people what to do. We don't tell you must be like that. Yeah, up to you. You choose. All we do is analyze for you. Quite simple, right? Is it possible to be happy without conditions? This is the final question. If you are able to manage to be happy without conditions, then you can be happy without waiting for things to happen. And nothing can affect your happiness because it doesn't require conditions. That means however things change, you are still happy. In Buddhism, that kind of happiness is called nibbana. The unborn, unarisen, the unconditioned. Worldly happiness are all conditioned. Because worldly circumstances are all conditioned. They are all conditioned. Your way, so require conditions. And as long as you seek worldly happiness, that happiness, number one, has a chance of not happening. Number two, after you get it, has a chance of being lost. When I say chance, doesn't mean that maybe it may not be lost. Chance just means there's a possibility of it being lost at some point in time. Could be earlier, could be later. But eventually, the chance of it being lost ultimately is 100%. Yeah. So some of it start high, then gradually, some take a long time, then but ultimately it is always going to happen. This is the nature of worldly happiness. And then the worst thing is, if we were to think, oh, I have one, I'm happy. If I have two, then I'm happier. 3, I'm happiest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want everything in the world. Then I'll be super happy. You'll be in for a surprise. Maybe that's why some kids are always, some kids, you like kids. Again, I must say some. They're not around, they just kids just run. They see each other. And they just, yeah. But maybe for kids, maybe it's because the brain not developing. Huh? So think about it, huh? Yeah. How do you plan to spend the day? Have a nice day unless you have other plans. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
我愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And as ways.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a nice, quiet day ahead.
Thank you, Sư Phụ.
Yes, 师父，拜拜。
Okay.
谢谢师傅。